Okay, 286. Just starting. Madlikin. Tafrei Shayin Dalid. Tafrei Shayin Dalid, 286. Madlikin Ner Chanukah Ner Chanukah. You're permitted to light one candle from another as long as it's all Ner Chanukah. Let's say on the second night, you have to light a second candle. So you're permitted to take the second candle and light it from the first candle. Why? Because the second candle is a mitzvah, the first candle is a mitzvah. To light something which has ordinary value, let's say you want to light a match to light the second candle. Let's say you have oil candles, so you can't light one from another. So you take a match, and you ignite the match with candle 1 to light candle B, to candle 2. You're not permitted to do this. Why? Because the Gemara says, because the match, refers to as a Ki Sisa, is ordinary. It doesn't have any mitzvah value. It's only to transfer the fire. You're not permitted to do this. That's considered disrespect. But if you take from one candle to another where the second candle is also part of the mitzvah, then you're permitted. As long as you don't have a medium between them, like a match. But to use an ordinary candle to light one from another, like you ignite the ordinary candle from candle A that's burning to light candle 2, you're not permitted to do this. That's the first opinion. Others even permit this. Since the lighting is for the purpose of the mitzvah, that's not considered disrespect. Although what you're lighting is an ordinary candle or an ordinary match. Unless there's a concern, by the time you light the second candle, the ordinary candle will go out. But if the yesh matirim, the more lenient opinion is that if you're assured that the fire is going to continue and it'll last long enough to be able to light the second candle, it's not a problem. But let's say you use a match. Match is not so simple. You light it, by the time you get to the second candle, you may have to light a second match. So it turns out that the match that you lit from the first candle wasn't utilized for a mitzvah. Then even the lenient opinion says you're not permitted to do it. It's only if you're assured that the ultimate result will be that you light another mitzvah candle. But if there's even a question you may not, then you're not permitted to do it. It's considered disrespect. No. Sham is an ordinary candle. Hagor. V'nogu lahachmir b'neres Chanukah shel lahadlik elu b'ner leir. We were machmir, we rule stringently, like the first opinion, that even if you're assured that the fire will continue, we don't light an ordinary candle from a mitzvah candle, even though it's for the sake of lighting a mitzvah candle. The Ika mitzvaso, why? Hear this? Ladlik afil minera l'ner, he's saying even more than that. We don't even light candle 2 from candle A. Because what does candle B? What happens if you light candle 1? You fulfill your mitzvah. The additional candles are considered hiddur mitzvah. So because it's considered, it doesn't have the same value as the original candle, so even if you light candle 2 from candle 1, it's considered a downgrade. So it comes out interesting. So what if you want to light candle 3 from candle 2? Then it should be permitted. Because that's hiddur. It's from hiddur, right? 2 doesn't have any greater value than 3. 1 I understand. So let's see what he says. No good lahach lider shel chash lahadlik afilu miner liner. Dika mitzvah so ein el liner echot. Because what is the base mitzvah? 1 candle is sufficient. V'ashor ein el mitzvah kol kach. The others are not anything that special. Force is the first one. Lochein lahadlik zeh mizeh. V'chol zeh eino rak ba'ot shedolkim lemitzvah. That's only says when they're burning within the first half an hour. What about after you've gone beyond the first half an hour? Right? You can put it out after the first half an hour is over. So then the fire is no longer considered a mitzvah fire after the first half an hour. It's hiddur. It's not. It's only it's an enhancement. Yeah, but it's an enhancement. Doesn't have the same. Right, but after the period of the mitzvah had passed, the half an hour has passed. Mutorim b'hano, since you're permitted to benefit from it, so therefore there's nothing wrong with lighting. Koshkem lahadlik mehen. So let's say a person lights early. Somebody comes a little bit later, and the first menorah is still burning after half an hour. Right? The children light early, and the father comes home later. And now but the children's menorahs are still burning. Now the father wants to light his fire from that. He can. He can because it's after half an hour. But let's talk about something else. What about lighting one from one? Right? Seemingly it would also be permitted. Right? Because we're saying the only reason because the additional candles you light are only an enhancement. It's heater. So let's say you have two people. One lights his candles, the way it should be done with the ordinary candle, all of them. Now, number two goes and wants to light his first candle from those candles. Even from the first candle, it should not be a problem. Within the half hour, it shouldn't be a problem. Right? He wants to light candle one from candle one of the first lighting. It shouldn't be a problem. Right? Because the only reason we're saying because the additional candles are not necessary. They're only enhancements. That's what I'm saying. Candle one from candle one. Seemingly should be permitted, even according to Ramo. It's mitzvah to mitzvah. But now once you've lit candle one from one, now you want to light the additional candles. Also shouldn't be a problem. Because the original lighting, what did you light for? I didn't light for the additional candles. I lit for candle one to fulfill the mitzvah. Right? So what's wrong? Now that it's burning, why is it any worse that I light it for candle one, and now it burns a little, now I put it out? Let's say you want to leave it burn. I light it for candle one, and then I put it, then I allow it to continue burning. You're allowed to benefit from that light. But you say, well, but it was originally lit from a candle which was a mitzvah. It's irrelevant. Because that lighting was for what purpose? It was to light candle one. It's not a problem. We'll have to see this. It's not so simple. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Ner Chanukah Ner Chanukah. Myri Beleo Rishon Velech was speaking the first night going forward. Sheish Yosem in Erechod, Zemi Zeh. Umadlik Zemi Zeh, you have more than one candle. You're lighting one candle from the other. In Ami Leo Rishon, V'yeshnei Anoshim B'bayis Echod, Shkol Echod Madlik B'fnei Atzmo. You have two people in this household, and each person is lighting individually. So could one light his menorah from the first menorah? Mutar l'hatlik Zemi Zeh. Stay in there, shall mitzvah. V'aftim v'or l'kamon b'sim tofresh ayin hey shetzorach lahanichot tchila makom achach ladliko. Yeah, he's asking an interesting question. What's the halacha? You're supposed to light it where it's meant to be. We had earlier that if you have a menorah above 20 amos or on the floor, you light it, then you want to lift it up. It's not valid. Because since we rule hadlokos, the lighting is the mitzvah. So when you light it, it has to be in the location where it's going to burn. So he says, so when you take the candle and you light it, the ordinary candle, you light it from that to transfer. Right? So seemingly, if you light it, if you take the candle out, he's saying, let's say you take the candle out, and you light it, candle from candle. So that means you had to take it out, and now you're putting it in. So it comes out but when you light it, it's supposed to be already in the location where you're lighting it. So it becomes a problem. Right? According to the first opinion, we light from one candle to another. Right? Because it's all mitzvah candles. But, so what are we speaking about? You're lighting with wax candles. You take candle 2, you light it from candle 1, then you insert it in the menorah. But see, the question is, but when you light it, the candle is not in its location that it's going to burn. So why isn't that a problem? So how could you light candle 2 from candle 1 if when you lit it, it's not in its location to fulfill the mitzvah? Okay? So he says the Taz deals with it. Hey, the tzorch la'nichot tchila ha'makom va'achach ladliko kvar kosev ha'taz l'kamon. So the Taz addresses this. Since immediately after you light it, you're going to put it right into the menorah, that's like lighting it in its location. It's not a problem. That's a separate problem. No, right? We're not talking about that. Others say no. If you're lighting 2 from 1, since it's not in the menorah itself, it's a problem. They disagree with us. You were speaking about. The candles are next to one another and they have long wicks. And you're able to take the wick when it's already in its location and extend it over to the adjoining candle, and that's how you're lighting the new candle, the second candle. And the wick is long enough that you're able to ignite it by touching the first candle or next to it. And therefore you don't have to remove it from the menorah itself. It's in its location. So it's being lit where it's supposed to be lit.
You can't light a candle on the Shabbos. It's going to facilitate a mitzvah.
No, so we first opinion says, even though since ultimately permitted. Here we're going on the first menorah. But that is, if you're lighting one from another where there's no interim candle, which is not the mitzvah, it's permitted. It's not considered you disgracing the mitzvah. Came the shtei and shall mitzvah, because both lightings are lightings of mitzvah. Now he has an interesting shayla. We hold, if the candle goes out, you don't have to relight it. Kofsa ein zokaklo. So let's say candle 2 goes out, or candle 1 goes out. After you lit it, now you want to relight it. You won't be permitted to relight it, correct? Because once it goes out, you have no obligation to relight it. No, that's what we're talking about, right? Even if you're lighting it directly, you shouldn't light it. Because the lighting you're doing now is not a mitzvah any longer, right? It has value, but a mitzvah is not a mitzvah. So you're doing the wrong thing. Even if it went out within the half an hour, right? You did a proper lighting, and for some reason it went out within the half an hour. 5 minutes after you lit it, and now you want to relight it from one of the adjoining candles. You're not permitted. Exactly. That's exactly what he's pointing out. Then badlokazu mitzvah mikaradin. The kaimelon, kofsein zokaglo, because we rule that once it's been extinguished, you have no right, you have no obligation to relight it. So the second lighting is what is not considered a mitzvah lighting. So what are you not permitted to light? One from the other you're permitted, but to use another candle, the ordinary candle, to light it from the candle that's the mitzvah, although it's facilitating a mitzvah lighting, you're not permitted to do. Right? That's the first opinion of Mechaber. Because you're disgracing, using, because until you light the other, in the interim, what did you ignite? An ordinary candle. Although you're doing it for the sake of a mitzvah. The ner shel shamish, okay, somebody asked about the shamas. Lighting the shamas from one of the candles. What is that? The chlal ner shel chol. It's considered an ordinary candle because you're only putting it there to be able to benefit from the light. Ayin l'kamei sifkotin, zayin, gambozer. There are others, yesh matir and gambozer, that you could use if you could use an ordinary candle to facilitate a mitzvah lighting. Sfir lei decame those akdei lahadluk take it mimenu ner shel mitzvah. Since immediately it's not you're lighting it now you use it for something else, then ultimately you're going to light the mitzvah. The other candle. You're lighting it clearly, it's for the sake of lighting the others. La b'chal bizayu. That's not considered you disgracing the mitzvah. Because it's obvious that the lighting, although the interim candle is ordinary, but for what purpose is it? It's for the sake of a mitzvah, therefore that's not considered a disgrace. It's not disrespectful. Beneris Chanukah. With Machmeh, we don't even light one from one. The Ramah concludes, our minigs, we don't even light one from another. Okay, we'll see. And any kelim, the basement, it was all avoda kelim. All the vessels are used for the avoda. If they're consecrated, they were only used for the avoda. And all the vessels in the Mishkan were all consecrated vessels.
But I'm sure there were some that weren't directly used.
No. All the vessels in there. You're not even permitted to bring an ordinary vessel into the sanctuary. You're not permitted to bring it in. Okay? It's like bringing a non-consecrated animal in there. Anything that you're able to do the avoda with, if it's not consecrated, you're not permitted to bring it in there. Okay? Beneres Chanukah. So over here, the Ramos says, we're machmir that we don't even light one from another. We're machmir. Beneres Chanukah, daf beneres Chanukah mitam shemvor lekame avo beneres shel acher v'shel mitzvah. Okay? We're saying since the one candle is the base mitzvah and the additional candles are only hidur mitzvah, our minig is we don't even light the second candle from the first candle. That's the Ramo. So he says that's specifically Neres Chanukah. What about Neres Shabbos? You're lighting Shabbos candles, Yom Tov candles. There, every candle has the same value, right? It's for the sake of illumination. So what difference it makes? It's one candle or 5 candles. Every candle is for the same purpose. There, you could light one from another. It's not a problem. You can stand that. It's mitzvah. Here, we're differentiating. The first mitzvah is the base mitzvah. The other candle is hidur mitzvah. Neres Shabbos, it's not called hidur mitzvah. Whatever you light is called Neres Yom Tov, Neres Shabbos. So they're all of equal value. Therefore, you can light directly one from another. It's not a problem. Beneres shel achem shem god shel Shabbos shel beis haknes chodome madlikin ner miner. You could light one candle from another. You're citing the Darkei Moshe. It's the Ramo. Chen hiskim b'sefer chemed Moshe dechenu amadover, and that's the way people conduct themselves. V'chein kos v'chay yodom chimash v'le'el simkuf nundal tzif yudal davka ner shel hedjut e madlikin ner shel beis hakneses. To light an ordinary candle, we don't light that from the candle burning in the shul. Avol ner miner shori. Look here, Ramosham klum lahachmir mashtem pshitlei. There's a less kan meaning lahachmir. I'm going to meet in the shul. You want to light one candle from another to have more light in the shul. It's not a problem. They say ner shel chol en kadai afil b'shar ner shel mitzvah. Ika mitzvah. Okay, now the Ramos says, why don't we light even one candle from another directly? Because he says, because the base mitzvah is one candle, and the additional candles are hidur mitzvah. So therefore, even though they're all within the context of mitzvah, because it's a lesser mitzvah, it's a downgrade, therefore it's not considered appropriate. Dikar mitzvah, so hainum dinol halusagi b'nei rechot. Based on the base halacha, one l'chol b'nei abayis heichad smuchin kulan al shulchan echad. As long as they're all being supported by one source of support. He says, according to this, you have 2 people renting the same room. 2 people living in the same house, independent. Each financially spent the other. So now, no difference between the candle 1 of 1 and candle 1 of 2. You understand what he's saying? If you have one family and everybody's being supported by the same person, even the additional sets of candles, even candle 1, is all hidur mitzvah. So therefore, everything's hidur mitzvah. Well, now you have 2 people sharing a hotel room, and they have to light Hanukkah candles. Candle 1 of each of them is on par. They're of the same status. So there, in that case, they could light. Even the Ramot agree they could light one from another, right? Because it's not hidur. Each candle 1 for each of them is the base mitzvah. You follow me, Ernie? Again, the Ramo says you have the father lights his candles, and now you have the children lighting their candles. Now, after the father lit his candles, did the children have an obligation to light? The base mitzvah already was covered. So therefore, the additional candles which are lit, even candle 1 of the additional candles, is hidur mitzvah. So hidur mitzvah is not on the same level as what? As the base mitzvah. Therefore, the Ramos of the minigas, we don't even light candle from candle once you've lit the first candle. The head of household lit his first candle. The father's menorah, right? Now, what happens now? You have 2 people sharing a room, and we had earlier. They both share. They both rent rooms in a house, and they put the candles at the window. Now, each of them has an independent obligation to light, right? One doesn't cover the other. Mr. 2 wants to light his from the first candle of Mr. A. He could do it, even though he agreed. Each one independently has the light of the other. He has his independent obligation. But it's a little ambiguous. We said to light one from another, but it's only candle one from candle one. It's not candle 3 from candle 1. Because even within the menorah itself, you can't light 2 from 1. Because anything additional to the 1 is hitter mitzvah. So it seems that should be permitted. 2 should be, as we pointed that out earlier, right? That should be permitted. Eino mitzvah kol kach. He said, we spoke. Let's say after you lit one of them, Dino Mineros Apiros. One again out. Koshkim Shim Nichbash Shen La Likum Nechanuk. What about if the shamas goes out? It's not even the question. Because even initially lighting the shamas, you're not permitted. There's no obligation to light a shamas. It's not a mitzvah. You're only lighting it to be able to benefit. Kosam Marshal Beis HaKnesset and Chiluk Ben Shamas L'Sharos. Shkol Ner Shibdoch Kruyim Ner Mitzvah. Saying a Chiddush. Here the Marshal writes, what do we light candles in shul? It's all Pirsumi Nisa. Whoever lights in shul, everybody has to go home, light their own candles. It's because it's the public setting, he says. There, even the shamas is really no different than the other candles in the shul. Because that is the profile of a Hanukkah menorah. It has a shamas. They're all considered ner mitzvah. Shemochi ish ligor bos and shemadlik and nerusein al yidei shvochos miner shel beis hakneses. People, they send their housekeepers or their servants to the shul when they need fire at home, and they go light off the lights burning in the shul. Afilu min hashamas, even from the shamas, they shouldn't. Chutz mi motzei Shabbos kei leilach beis lo'er bambus afelus. He says, except motzei Shabbos, where it's a question, because people, they can't walk in the dark alleyways. It's a question of, it could be pekuach nefesh, then you're permitted, because that's a dvar mitzvah. To light the way for people, so that it's not lighting for their homes. It's to light the way to get home, to light the lantern, to be able to get home. Then there's no problem if they light from the shamas. It's a whole different concept. Is anybody Yotze? You're not Yotze in the shul. So that's what we say, even the shamas. That's called Nerushal Beis HaKnesses. He's saying anything that's called Nerushal Beis HaKnesses, although it's not for the Hanukkah. What do you no, meaning like this? It means like this. No. He's saying, very often it comes up, a person needs fire on Yom Tif. Transferring fire is permitted, creating fire is not permitted. Correct? Yom Tif. So what happens if fire goes out? You have to go to a neighbor, get a fire. Right? You light something and you bring it. Very often when you on your way, it blows out, you have to go back again. It's not simple. So usually you light a yahrzeit candle, right? That usually stays. So now, in the olden days, the person needed fire. In the shul, there was always fire. Because the shul, when they didn't have electricity, so you had lanterns or whatever you had burning there, which would burn for an extended period of time. So the person needed fire and says, what would he do? He told his housekeeper, go to the shul and light off those lights. So he says that it's forbidden. Because the light in shul, that's to illuminate the shul, it's for illumination. You can benefit from it. But in what context do you benefit from? Within the function of what the shul is about. But to be able to accommodate yourself at home, that's not what it's about. The shul, accommodating people in shul, that's called mitzvah. Although it's for the sake of illumination. It's no different than the Shabbos candles. You want to use the Yom Tov candles to light a cigarette. You're not permitted. Even though they're both for your purpose. Because illumination of the house on Yom Tov or Shabbos, that's the mitzvah. That's called mitzvah. That's called mitzvah. That was originally legislated. The house should be illuminated, therefore you have an obligation to light candles on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So it's similar to the shul. Why do you have lights in shul? You have to daven out of respect. The shul should be an illuminated location. So to light off that fire, that's considered taking from a mitzvah fire for ordinary usage in your homes. He says you should scold those who send their housekeepers to the shul to transfer fire for the usage in the home. Nothing to do with Hanukkah. Mitzvah. Using something that's designated for a mitzvah, Yom Tif. For illumination. That's mitzvah. That's a mitzvah. Because why is the shul illuminated? People should daven there. People should congregate there.
I want to use that light for illumination in my own house.
That's a personal usage. That's not a mitzvah.
It's showing light.
It's not.
It's a mitzvah, but even though we didn't say it for Shabbos, showing light.
That's within the context. If it's to light your Shabbos candles, or your Yom Tov candles, you're permitted. We're talking about you want to go and you want to light your stove. You want to light your stove. It doesn't make a difference. It's not the same thing. That's called machshirei mitzvah. That's to facilitate cooking. This is the actual light. It's illumination. That is the mitzvah. If it's to light Yom Tov candles, it's permitted.
The shul has in mind their purpose in lighting includes everything. It's for the benefit of their community.
Doesn't make a difference. It's the reality. No, if you light an extra light for people to transfer from that fire, it's not a problem.
It's one usage.
No.
When we light lights, we are doing a service for our community. We provide light and anything else that we need.
I think Mayor de Blasio needs a good advisor. Okay.
That's the way I would give the shul no information.
No. Anything that goes on in the shul is a mitzvah. That's it's to illuminate. It's not. I said if you want to set up a light in the shul for people to draw light, that's permitted. Here, speaking this, the light in its context is illuminating the shul. Illuminating shul, that's mitzvah. To use it for a lesser value, that's considered disrespect. Near's mitzvah. We're talking near mitzvah. Near. No, because even the light in the shul, what are you putting a shamas there? It's no worse. It's no less than nearest Beis HaKnesses. The shamas is like nearest Beis HaKnesses. That's what he's saying. So just as the ordinary lights in the shul, you're not permitted to draw for your personal usage. Here also, the shamas is no less than that. Therefore, you shouldn't do it. No, because that's to accommodate the community. That's a communal need. But it was during the week that people had lanterns. Motzei Shabbos, you didn't have lanterns. You didn't have lanterns. Motzei Shabbos, everything went out. To be continued. What? It's Purim Torah. It's called Tosefes Purim. Tosefes Shabbos, Tosefes Purim. Howard said people called him to find out if Yad Avram's open today. David did. Well, what's even the consideration? It wasn't open. Like everybody, the heads are getting all convoluted. I know. Yeah, so it's like people are here. It's like he's here.